When the noise gets so loud, you scream, and then there's silence. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today the sky is cloudy and my nails are blood red. I'm Kanaisha, and I want to talk about art. My favorite artist since the past 3 years is this guy called Tamino Amir. The first song I ever heard from him is this song called Habibi. And when I tell you I passed away, like I literally descended into heaven. Or ascended into heaven, if there is one. You're literally listening to the ghost of me. I passed away. To give you a little more background on him, Tamino Amir is this Egyptian singer. So, a lot of his music has this really gorgeous Arabic undertone to it. And since I grew up on Sufi Bollywood music, I was just so instantly drawn to it. And ever since then, I've just never been able to get over the depth of his music. And his lyricism is just so poetic. And I think he really embodies what it means to truly be an artist. Tamino recently dropped a documentary where he literally does nothing. He just lives in this secluded cabin for 2 months and he makes this deal with his cameraman that they just won't talk the whole time. So he lives in his cabin in silence. The entire film just documents him making music whenever he feels like it or whenever he feels really inspired to do it. There's also this big scarecrow that he builds, like this stick figure, and it just really intrigues me because he doesn't explain why he's building it or what the reason for it is. And I just love mysterious, cryptic, like weird artists because then it's just you aren't forcing the audience to see something, right? It's just like what people want to see, they are gonna see it and they're just gonna get it. But it's just so fascinating to me and it just really intrigues me. And eventually he burns the scarecrow. Like he built this thing from sticks and rope. He built this whole giant scarecrow that he ends up lighting a bonfire under and it just eventually disintegrates and burns. But I think that's why make something only to destroy it. He built something from scratch to destroy it and it didn't mean anything. There was nothing to it. He built this thing for technically nothing and then destroyed it. I think silence is just so integral to what makes us human. And Tamino's use of silence in his documentary reminded me of this interview I had seen of one of my favorite Bollywood actors called Nazaruddin Siddiqui. And in the interview, he basically said that what he believes to be really impactful when it comes to being able to express yourself is the silence in between scenes that a lot of filmmakers cut out. And he said that he found himself to be really disappointed when he realized that so many of those important, impactful moments in his head were actually cut out because they were just silence. And in the interview, he actually just goes quiet with the interviewer and they just like look at each other for a few seconds and the awkwardness just starts to set in. And he literally points that out. He goes, are you seeing how uncomfortable you are with the silence? And I think that is just so brilliant because it relates to this analogy of how artists feel when they make art. The world is just so loud, right? The world is so loud, it's so chaotic. But when you're making art, when you are in that state of flow and you're doing something you truly love, with all your passion, your mind goes silent. And I think that's just so brilliant because silence is what makes us human beings. And silence is nothing. Silence is nothing. Silence is nothing at all. And that's what a lot of artists like to call art. Silence is art, and art is nothing. Art has just felt so soulless recently, and I've been the soulless consumer. Art is just nothing by itself. So much of art is the people that make it and the people that receive it. Now, what happens if we remove the person from this equation? What if we just use this equation to make art for the audience, to make art depending on what people want, depending on what we want people to see? But we just eventually forget that there's somebody still making that art. I wonder when that would happen. If we make art solely for the audience, we are making something. Art is nothing. If we make something, it stops there. It cannot evolve, it cannot transform. But if we make nothing, that always has the potential of becoming something. That is art. Silence, nothingness. Art is nothing at all. You make it because you have to. I make it because I have to. There's no other way. And we make it for nothing. Perhaps it is a human tendency to make something out of nothing. When we have nothing, we make it something. We give it meaning. When you watch this video, you might apply meaning to it. What is art really? Nothing. The silence, perhaps? The vast nothingness? The nothingness? Or the somethingness of nothingness? Or perhaps it is the twig in my hair that has been in my hair since God knows when. That is art.